Hi, it's Phil.
Hi, it's Jonny.
So today we are going to talk about ankles. We're podiatrists, so we see a lot of ankles and a lot of ankle problems. But yeah, we're going to talk today particularly about ankle sprains or ankle injuries. So it's common to injure your ankles, particularly if you're into sports. So sports like, what do you see ankle inversion injuries in, Jonny, mostly?
Yeah, so a lot of sports where you change direction quickly, so netball, basketball, soccer, footy, very common, and even with sort of footwear, it just takes one sort of roll of the ankle, then you can sprain your ankle.
Yeah, and it's not much fun.
No.
And doing that, you can even do it walking out the front door. I've had many people do that. Out at work on a job site, you might be walking around on unstable, surfaces. Even in your work boots, you can tip your foot and sprain your ankle. So now, when we say ankle sprain, there's a great way. There's a better version of this ankle sprain. That's where you roll your ankle. You have a bit of pain on the outside of your ankle. You might get no help, or you might go and get some help from your GP or physio, and they give you some exercises, and your ankle gets better, and you're back to normal within a month or two. That's a good story.
Yeah.
They don't always go that well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what can go wrong. So Jonny, if I said to you, what's the number one sort of bad outcome of a sprain that causes it to not get better quickly, what would that generally be?
So I'll show you the sort of foot model. So you might be able to see, so we're concentrating on the sort of outside of the ankle, so you're much more likely to sort of sprain the ligaments on the outside of the ankle, just because you might be able to see that this bone comes a bit further, so it acts as a block. So people, when they commonly sprain their ankle, it's the ligaments on the outside. You've got 3 ligaments with very fancy names, we won't get into that.
Yeah.
You can have a read, but yeah, so if you sort of sprain the ligaments on the outside of the ankle, and we could go off like a grading system, if it's sort of a bad sprain, then it could leave you out of sort of sport and action for several months, especially if you don't sort of get onto it with good appropriate rehabilitation and good advice, and
and those ligaments, they can get stretched, they can get torn, or they can completely come apart, and that generally, in that order, that's not a great thing. They can even pull off the bone, so they can actually pull, we call it an avulsion fracture, it'll pull a bit of the bone off, so lots of things that can go wrong. But that's the most common one. If you see an ankle, if you yourself, you've done it and your foot has swollen up really badly, if there's dark bruising down the side of the foot, and if your pain is worse, particularly if you with any pressure on any areas, it's really painful, then you definitely want to be getting an x-ray. So you want to be getting help as soon as you can. But yeah, the worse the damage is, the more traumatic the damage is, the worse the pain's going to be, and the longer it's going to take to get better. Now, the other things that can happen too is often what will happen is you'll get to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and it's just not getting better. That's when your general sort of rehab and exercise stuff is not going to help. Well, you need to look at a cause and go, well, why is this happening? What other injuries could happen? One of the things that sometimes gets missed is, I'll borrow the foot, Jonny. In the back of the foot here, you can actually have, when you do a bad ankle inversion injury, your foot is going like that quite quickly. You can actually damage the bones in the joint, in the ankle, or the joint underneath, the subtalar joint, and you can get what we call a talar dome lesion. So either a bruising or a chipping or a break in that area, and that can be often quite missed early on in the process. So if you've got persistent ankle pain, that's where, if you come to see us, that's what we'll do, is we'll investigate the less common reasons of ankle pain to help with that. So and by 2 to 3 months, any bone injuries will be more obvious, right, in x-rays and MRIs and other scans like that. Now, another thing that can happen is, even if you haven't damaged the bone, and even if the ligaments themselves are, you're doing okay, you can still end up with a bit of persistent pain on the outside of the foot. Now, one of the common ones there, if I point out at Jonny, what are these funny looking gadgets here? What are they?
So that Phil's pointing at the perineals and the tendon that sort of inserts into the outside of the sort of foot.
Into this bump on the outside. Yeah. And one thing that you'll notice is if those ligaments are a bit weak or a bit unstable, is it sometimes means the tendons have to come to work and do more work. They have to do the job of what the ligaments used to do, particularly if there's a tear. So sometimes people can start with pain in one area and end up with pain somewhere else. And as podiatrists, that's what we do. We love getting into the mystery of what's causing the problem, what's causing the pain, and working out strategies.
If it was a tendon pain, and if there's sort of inflammation going on in that area, we have loads of cool ways that we can help with the pain and gadgets that we can use to sort of reduce the inflammation and help with the pain.
One of the ones is the laser. I don't know. I know we talked about it in our knee video from earlier, but I'm thinking of heaps of cases of people with semi-acute ankle injuries where we've really been able to see a huge reduction in swelling and pain quite quickly, and that's the exciting thing about this new laser we have. It's so nice to have an extra tool in our belt. Yeah. So look, we can talk all day about ankles, and there's a lot of things, there's a lot of detail in it, but the number one thing we want you to understand is if you've had an ankle injury, if you've sprained your ankle, it's not getting better, and you've tried all the things you normally would, we would love to meet you. We would love to work out what is wrong, why it's happened, and then work out a plan to get you back to normal again. And we have seen many thousands of ankle injuries over the years and been able to make a huge difference in people's lives. For us, it's about getting you back to doing the thing that you both want to do and need to do. So you want to still play sport, you want to be active, and you need to work and need to be able to provide for your family and do the things you need to do. So if your foot pain is preventing that, please come and see us, because we love to see you back on track.
Yeah.
That's what gets us out of bed in the morning.
Exactly.
But thank you again for watching. And if you have any questions, you can always put a comment on here or call our team, our front desk. They can always help. Or our website has heaps and heaps of information on it that we can, you can read more about the different treatments we have and the different conditions that we help with. So, thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Take care.